Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my August favorites. I can't believe it's that time of the year again. I always do a tutorial with you guys showing you exactly how I use my favorites for the month. This month we have some really good favorites and I just want to get right into it. I really quickly want to throw in that I am in a different space and probably way more professional than my personal space, but I'm in the Ipsy Studios right now in California. I'm filming live from California. I'm not in Maryland, so I'm so excited that I'm here filming for you guys and bring you guys some really good content because I know this video is going to look bomb AF. So if you want to continue watching and see what made it to my August favorites, then please go ahead and do so because trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is start off with our base. I want to go ahead and moisturize because that's first things first. I have a new favorite moisturizer. I use this in unison with my First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream, which you guys know I always talk about. It's one of my favorite products ever. I recently discovered this ROSACARE by PROCURE. You can find this at your local CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, just basically any drugstore. And basically what this does is it minimizes the appearance of your redness. It is tinted green, so that allows the color to kind of just look a little bit more minimized. Right now my cheeks are a little bit red. I literally got off a plane this morning, so that's why they're just red and everything, but the green tint helps a lot. And it does have licorice extracts, which is great for rosacea skin, very soothing for the skin. It just makes the skin feel very soft and not irritated, especially when you're just starting your day and you want everything to look really nice and in place. This is like your best friend. So I'm just applying that all over the cheeks. What I like to do with this is I like to apply this all over my cheeks, and then everywhere else I use my Ultra Repair Cream. Because I don't have rosacea everywhere else, I don't have to go ahead and apply it elsewhere. Right now I'm extra red because I did use a product this week that really irritated my skin. So I'm just trying to bring this back to life. I really recommend trying out the ROSACARE. I just feel like it makes such a big difference, especially if you're somebody that does have rosacea and you're looking for things to calm your skin, to minimize some of that redness. Obviously, this isn't going to make the redness go completely away, but it definitely helps, especially with that green tint because the green cancels the red. Okay, so now that we put on the moisturizer, we're going to go ahead and just leave that be. We're going to let it soak into the skin, and we're going to start on our eyes. I noticed that when I let that kind of absorb into the skin before I go in with like foundation and primer and stuff like that, it tends to really soak into your skin and do its job exactly what it needs to do, so that when you do come across that bridge of putting on primer and foundation, it's already set into the skin and in place. So this is the time that I like to work on my eyes, and probably about like 30 minutes of eye work, and then we can go ahead and put everything else. Okay, so I went ahead and primed my eye, and you guys know I always use the same primer, so we're not even going to discuss that because that's not even a monthly favorite. But the product that I've been using this month, all month long for shadow, and I've actually done a bunch of the same look, is my ARACELI Beauty Palette. This palette is gorgeous. This is the Jalisco Palette. You guys have definitely seen this. I've actually mentioned it in a favorites video a few months ago, and I did a video on Latina-owned products, so I mentioned this baby. I feel like it's the perfect everyday palette. It's also beautiful for night looks, and you get a beautiful little mirror in here, so it's like awesome for like traveling purposes, or if you're getting ready with your girlfriends for like a night out and you're not going to be at home. I think it's just bomb. So I'm going to be first starting off with the neutral shade, which is Sombrero, and that's like the most beautiful like light brown, goes perfectly into the crease, and I'm just going to be applying that right on the crease, really blowing it back and forth. I'm going to be taking a big fluffy blender brush. This is from the Beauty Bird Sigma collection. I love this brush. It's so great for like detailed work, like detail precision with like blending. It doesn't diffuse it out way too much like some other blending brushes. It's just like enough. So we're starting off with this color because I really want it to kind of be like a nice division between like light and dark. And once we've laid that down, I'm going to go ahead and take the color Café, which is this color right here. And that's like a much darker, deeper brown. And I'm just going to be placing that right on this outer edge. Now you guys see why I added Sombrero first, because Sombrero just kind of serves as like an all over crease color. And then we lay this darker color, Café, down to really add intensity to the eye. So you guys can see, do you see how that looks really nice and intense? Can we just talk about how cute this is? Like, look at that with this jarape. Like, it's just so authentic to Mexico, and I really love Araceli Beauty. They have such beautiful products, and I'm so happy that they are getting recognized because they deserve it. Latina-owned business is so beautiful. Any business that's owned by a minority, I'm like all here for. I definitely recommend checking out this Jalisco palette. It's been like my go-to, and like I mentioned, you can do so many things with it. You can do dramatic looks, you can do like really soft looks for the day. Like, it's a really like well-rounded palette that doesn't intimidate you, and I think that's what a lot of us look for, are palettes that are not intimidating. We love those fun palettes, but sometimes you just need something that you can really use every day. I'm gonna add a little bit more of Café, that darkest shade, and I'm gonna really keep it on this outer edge, so that we can really start to add a lot of depth in here. The colors are so pigmented and they just blend like a dream. You can see we're not taking that color all the way through. I find that when you take the color all the way through to the end, it can look very blown out and almost like a smoky eye, and that's not really what we're going for with this look. We really just want it to like lay soft on the face. So once we have done that, we're gonna go in with the star of the show, which is tequila, and we're gonna be placing tequila on our lid, but we're gonna be keeping it halfway through because we really kind of want to add more brown depth on the edge. Right now I'm using my MAC 242 brush. This brush is such a holy grail. The reason I'm mentioning it right now is because this month I've used it nonstop. I always use this brush, but like this month I was like, I need to give this brush a shout out because this is an essential. If you don't have a MAC 242 brush, you need to stop what you're doing and go to MAC and get it, because I'm telling you, this is one of the most essential brushes that you'll ever use in your eye makeup. It's such a good multi-use brush. It lays that product down so beautifully. And do you see how beautiful this color is? This is no MAC Fix Plus, no nothing, just the color itself. It just goes to show that Araceli Beauty really spent time and really made sure to develop really good quality eyeshadows. And that speaks volumes of them, because that means that they really care about what they're producing. There's some brands that, you know, they just want to launch products just because. And Araceli Beauty is not that, because everything that I've tried from them is bomb. We're going to stop it right here. And then we're going to go back with the shade Café. And Café is the darkest shade from the palette. And we are just going to give it some life right here. We're gonna really blend in those colors together. And it's a pretty easy eye, guys. Like, you only need 3 colors from the same palette. I also like smaller palettes, because with smaller palettes, you're able to really not have a hard time being like, oh my God, there's too many colors, I'm overwhelmed. You're just like, oh, the colors are here, perfect. Let's go ahead and do something quick and easy. You see, it's like nice and smoky now. There we go, that is the eye. So now for our lashes, I'm going to be using a new favorite of the month that I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited about. These are the Baddy B Lashes in the style #IG. So a lot of you guys asked me if I had tried them, if I liked them, if they were more like on the natural side, like what style are they? And that's a very good question, because I feel like a lot of times we'll want to try a new lash, but it's only sold online, and we're kind of like, ugh, should I try it? What if I get it and it doesn't look good on me? I've had so many of those moments where like I'll go buy lashes online and then I'll get them and I'll be like, this is not the one for me. I look crazy. So it's really cool to kind of get a review, or like, I guess like a test to see how they look on somebody. So I do want to come on here and tell you guys that these are approved by me. I really do love them. I feel like they're perfect lash that you can really see what's going on behind the eye, but they still have a pretty flare, but they're not intensely dramatic where you're like, ooh. Because I have to say, a lot of Baddy B's lashes are more on the dramatic side, and I love that, but I know a lot of people don't love that. So it's nice to see that they kind of have a little bit more of a natural lash, and I feel like this one will look good on everybody. I've been using this nonstop. I have a little bit of eyeshadow from the last look I did that I tried to like rub off, but it's not rubbing off as well, but I'm just obsessed. So you guys are about to see this in action, so I'm just taking the lash, just sticking it on. You guys can see. Do you see that? It looks gorge. Like, it's just one of my favorites. I'm telling you, if you've never tried lashes, you are in for it once you do try it, because they change a look so much. Now, if you have naturally long lashes, stick to those, because I'm telling you, it's not going to be expensive to just buy mascara, but when you're buying like a billion lashes because you want to try them all out, it adds up. I'm a lash fiend. Like, I love lashes. So for me, this is like, I will spend the money on lashes because I don't have lashes. Like, I have the tiniest, like, spermy looking lashes, and I'm just like, ooh. So it's nice for me to have the option to put on some falsies. So that pretty much concludes my eye favorites. I don't have a new brow favorite. I'm still loving my NYX Brow Pencil, which I did mention last month. But there may be a new one because I just purchased the new one by Fenty, which I have right here. I'm doing a review on that. So stay tuned for that. Maybe it'll make it next month for my favorites, but that one, I'm really intrigued. So you guys will have to wait and see what happens. So we have our eyes complete. Doesn't it make such a difference when you have like a full snatched eye done? It just like makes you excited to finish off the rest of the face. So if you guys watched my Fenty Foundation review, I brought back this little baby right here. I had like the large version originally and I used it all up. And so then I went a few months without using it because I was trying all the different types of primers, and I came back to it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. So this is a soft matte primer by Fenty Beauty. They now have 3 primers. They have this soft matte, they have the hydrating one, and then they have a more true matte. So for me, who does have kind of combination skin with the rosacea cheeks that tend to be dry and then a very oily T-zone, I think this is the best bet for me. I've tried all 3 of them and I think this is the way to go. Right now I do have my little travel size because I am traveling. I just feel like this is a well-rounded primer. It's very universal. It's not a like extreme mattifying primer. It's one of those primers that gives you a nice like soft matte finish. It gets rid of those oils, but not to the point where you're like, ooh, it's like tight. It's a very good oil free. You can already see like this part of my face compared to everything else that had oil, and even so up here, like it just does the trick. This one is like a good one. Like you guys can see like the difference that it already made to my skin, and it just looks healthy, and it definitely reduced that shine, like I mentioned, without stripping it completely and making it look crusty. So this is a good way to try it out if you want to try out the travel size. This one does have 0.5 ounces, so it has half the size of the standard size. So I definitely do recommend it. I think it's $18 or so. So instead of purchasing it for like 30 something dollars, you can just test it out and see how it works. But I really do recommend this. So now we're going to move on to foundation. So we have had a lot of foundations come out, right? Yes. So I want to highlight 2 foundations that I've been really into lately. Fenty Beauty, the new one, the Pro Hydrating Foundation, and the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation. I personally feel like the Luminous one gives me a little bit more of a glow than the Fenty Beauty one. The Fenty Beauty one, I feel like has hydration from within, where it doesn't make your face look like it's separating or like cakey. It just makes it look natural. I don't feel like this one is as glowy as Anastasia one. I feel like this one really gives you like those radiance vibes. But I feel like if you're somebody that does have like combination oily skin and you kind of want to go to that hydrating foundation finish, then you probably will like more the Fenty Beauty. But if you're somebody that does have dry skin and you want something that's really nice and hydrating, then you probably will like the Anastasia one a little bit more. I quickly do want to say something about this Anastasia one. I found it very hard to find the perfect match. The undertones are a little bit weird. So I would just say go in store and have them swatch you and try it, because I just find that for me, I just had a hard time finding my exact shade. I literally had to exchange it twice to get the right color. With the Fenty Beauty one, it's so easy because if you already have the Fenty Pro Matte Foundation, then it's literally the same shade. So we're going to be using the Fenty one today, and I'm going to be pumping this baby out. I also like this for traveling. I feel like this is just so easy to put into your makeup travel bag, and it just doesn't get messy. It comes in the squeeze tube and it's very nice. It's also different packaging than the Pro Matte Foundation, which I think is always good because you can differentiate both foundations instead of having them in the same packaging and try and be like, okay, which one is hydrating, which one is the Pro Matte. This one is nice for like my vanity, but like when I threw it in my traveling bag, I had to adjust like the way my bag was just so that this can fit in there. So that's just something to note for you guys. Now this foundation by Fenty is runny, so you want to make sure that you quickly go in. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this on. So you guys can see this foundation definitely doesn't look super like luminous and like wet. I feel like it's more so like it sits well on the skin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue applying this. You can see the coverage is really good. It covered my redness pretty fast. I find that whenever I do use a hydrating foundation, it tends to minimize my texture a little bit better than when I use like a matte foundation that really accentuates those areas. Oh, and in case you guys are wondering, I am using the shade 300 for Fenty Beauty. I always leave that as one of my shade references because I know a lot of people use Fenty Beauty. So I always have that down there. Shade 300 is the way to go for me. It really does suit me very well. Now the coverage for the original Fenty foundation is definitely more full coverage than this one. This one is more buildable, but it's a true medium coverage where it just gives you really pretty finish and you can just build it up as opposed to like pumping it out and being like, whoa, this is way too full coverage for me. The sponge that I'm using is my e.l.f. sponge. This has been my favorite. I see you guys sometimes ask me about it. It's the e.l.f. one. I want to say it's like no more than $5. Foundation is also a very in-place foundation, so it doesn't budge. If you guys want to watch my reviews on both foundations, I will have them linked down below so you guys can get like the full wear test that I do. Okay, so for concealer, I actually have another one that is a Fenty Beauty concealer. And I did a review on this and I wasn't the biggest fan of it, to be completely honest with you guys. But I don't know if it's because I used it with a Fenty foundation and that's just how I was using it. I figured it would work great for me with a Fenty foundation, the Pro Matte one, but it just never worked for me. So I was like, let me give this a try again when I filmed my review. And I just love how this looked with my foundation, the new hydrating one. Like these two together, I feel like are great. And I feel like the reason why this concealer didn't work the best for me with the original Fenty Beauty foundation is because the Fenty Beauty foundation that first came out, the Pro Matte, is a very full coverage foundation. This is a pretty full coverage concealer on me. So two pretty full coverage products tend to not work the best together on my complexion. So to have a product that is more buildable and then have a product that's a little bit more fuller coverage to just conceal certain areas was like the perfect happy medium on me that I was like, okay, I think I like this concealer. So I've literally had this thing on my vanity and I was like, let me give it a try again now that I'm trying a new foundation from Fenty, and it was a gem. So you guys are about to see this. I picked up the shade 260. I always like to go a little bit lighter than my actual foundation because I like a bright eye. So I'm just going to take this. It is a little bit of a thicker consistency, which is another reason why I feel like it works well with this foundation, because I feel like I'm able to add like a little bit more coverage and not have it look cakey, and it just blends in so easier. So I think that these two together are definitely worth picking up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and set with my Ursuline Powder. This isn't new. I literally swear by this. I use this powder all the time. You can find it at Walmart. You can find it, I think Walmart's the main place you can find it. But we're going to just let that bake. I find that if you're looking for a brightening concealer for the foundation in the shade 300, 260 is going to be a good one. Because I feel like it's bright, but it's not like intense bright where you're like, whoa. So I don't like to leave the powder on for too long, so I'm just dusting it away. And also, this foundation works really well if you want to go in some powder to like set certain areas, especially if you do have like combination and oily skin. I find that I just kind of take it down here, like smile line area, because that's where I tend to get really dewy. I just feel like the foundation and the concealer are just like a perfect match for you. So now we're moving on to blush and highlight. So I have two favorites for this month. So this one is one that I have talked about before. I think maybe last year. I can't remember exactly when these blushes came out by KYLIE, but let me just tell you, KYLIE's blushes are really damn good. Her bronzers are really good too. But now that they have them at Ulta, I feel like this is your chance to kind of like look into them if you haven't already. Or I know sometimes a lot of us tend to be like, you know what, like I don't want to order online because I'm going to receive it and it's not going to be what I want and I can't return it, which makes total sense. I tend to think that way too sometimes. But I really do love her formula in blushes and bronzers. It is so nice and pigmented and it wears so beautiful. I know a lot of people worry about like, oh, is it going to wear for a long period of the day, because a lot of times my blush tends to fade. These are so long wearing, they're so pigmented, they don't separate, they just lay so beautifully on the cheek that you're just like, yes, give it to me. One that I am obsessed with is the shade We're Going Shopping. I just love applying this all over my cheeks. It just creates a beautiful blush, but it's so soft. I feel like it's a very wearable color. You can add more, you can intensify it, but I feel like it just gives you such a beautiful blush color. And I know people are really into blush right now. I feel like blush is so in. And I feel like she did a really good job making good blush. It just blends perfectly. The way you swirl it, like it just all goes together so nicely. I also like the fact that the KYLIE blushes are very affordable for like a high-end brand. I think they're like between like $15 and $18, which is pretty affordable for, like I mentioned, a KYLIE product. Because you guys know a lot of high-end products at like Sephora and Ulta tends to be like $30 for a blush. I will not spend anything more than $20 on a blush. I'm sorry, it's not my journey. Not me. Not happening. Like, I live for my more affordable blushes, and I'm glad that they put it in that price range because I feel like that's a reasonable price and you get a good amount of product in here, so it's fantastic. So now I want to touch on highlight. So this is an oldie but a goodie, and it's not even about like the collaboration or anything, but this is just a really good all-around product. So this is Champagne Pop, the collaboration. So my favorite highlighter for the month is Champagne Pop, collaboration with Jaclyn Hill by BECCA. And this one became my favorite this month because my oldest sister, she literally loves this highlighter. She's obsessed. So I have so many blushes and highlighters that I just kind of like put them away in storage, and I just keep the ones that I'm constantly rotating. And she reminded me about it, and I was like, let me play with that. And so I started using it all this month, and I was like, wow, this is why this highlighter sold out so many times, because it's so damn good. You literally need a little bit of it and it just like goes a long way. So I went back into my storage and I took it out, and you guys can see how loved it is. Hit pan in that baby. So another product that I've also been using a lot is the Morphe 501 brush. This one, you guys know, the M501, like everybody loved this brush. And I mainly use my Anastasia one, but like, you see how much it picks up? It's just so pigmented. So like, you can just see it right away. Like, it's there. It's like the intensity that you dream of. And I'm like, this is why this highlight did so damn good, because it's so poppin'. And I know a lot of us, I feel like, aren't so into highlighter as much as we used to be, like back in the day where we used to like go all the way up here and just like have this whole thing going on. Now I literally just keep it on like this little bone area so that when I'm like turned this way, you can kind of like see the light hit right here. And that's exactly where I want it to hit. And like, you can still see it from here. Like, it's glowing. I'm like, wow. Thanks for reminding me how bomb that highlighter is. So sister, thank you. Because I've been using it nonstop since she brought it up. Because she was like, I need to get another one for the sale at Sephora because I'm running out of mine. And I was like, I haven't reached for that one in a long time. Let me go back in storage and see what I can find from it. And I was like, all I've been using this month, and like, it's just so good. And with this brush, it's like heaven on earth. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our lips, and then we will be finished. So first things first, I want to talk about this combination, which if you guys watched my Sephora recommendations video for the Sephora sale, you guys saw me mention this, but this has just been a staple. I have loved this combination together. I feel like the past few months, you'll never see me just wear one color on my lips. Usually it'll be a combination of like two lipsticks, or like of a lipstick and a gloss, or of a lip liner and a lipstick. Mainly lip liner and lipsticks. This is the year that I definitely dove into lip liners. I was never a lip liner gal, but I just feel like lip liners, especially with nude lips, add such a beautiful dimension. So I'm really trying to get use out of it during this last month of summer. August, I went crazy with these two. But somebody called me out recently about only using nudes. So guess what? During the fall, we're going to be using a lot of staple colors on the lips, because they're right. I definitely need to spice things up here. So I'm going to be digging into that. So first I'm going to go in with my Makeup Forever lip liner in the shade Versatile Chestnut. This is in the shade 610. And I found out about this one from I Love Sadai. She posted a story and I was like, girl, what is that? Screenshotted it right away, bought it, and I've been a fan since. So if you ever want to find some good lip liners, you need to check out I Love Sadai, because she always has the bomb lip liners. Also, Orpha, gosh, whenever I see her lips done, I'm like, girl, your lip liner and lipstick combo are like everything I could dream of. So those two are like my go-to gals for lip liner inspo. So definitely check this one out. But I did mention this, And I just like to line my lip. I kind of go over my lip, not just like line it right on the area where people tend to line it. I like to go over because the color that we're using is like a nice nude, like a cool nude. So I really like to add a lot of dimension on the lip with the lip liner before we go in with the actual nude color. I also feel like this color, you can really move it into fall. Like you can transition with this color into fall. Even if you're not using a nude color, you can use like a darker color and it'll just look so beautiful. So now we're going to move on to this Huda Beauty matte lipstick. Guys, these lipsticks are heaven on earth. This is the most comfortable matte lipstick I've ever worn ever in my life. Like, it's so comfortable. It lasts for a very long day. Even when you're drinking stuff, eating, it'll stay on for a good amount of the day. Considering it is a lipstick, you guys know that like with liquid lipsticks, like they're locked into place, you know, they're not budging. But sometimes with lipsticks, you can have your doubts like, oh, it's going to come off because it's more of a creamier consistency. This stays in place. And I'm kind of going over the areas where we went in with the lip liner because I don't want it to be a very like defined lip liner line. I just want it to be like soft. It's so creamy. Like you can see, like I used a good amount of it. That's saying something because I like don't really go through my products like that. So yeah, that's pretty much the completed face. I am ready to conquer the day. I feel like myself now. When we first started, I was like literally barefaced, like, oh, but now I'm like, yes, honey. Yes, that's pretty much all. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching my August favorites video. I love doing these because I just feel like I'm able to share with you guys exactly what I'm loving and how I use it and put it to the test. And I know that you guys really love watching these, so I will forever be doing these. And I also feel like this is a perfect way to just interact with you guys of like a wrap up of what we loved this month. So now that I shared my favorites, I want you to share your favorites down below in the comment section. I hooked you guys up, so now you guys need to hook me up. And also, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video enough to stick around and subscribe. So hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video because I bring you guys some really good content that you guys won't want to miss. So go ahead and do both of those things. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Lets me know to continue doing these types of videos for you guys every single month. And that being said, I love you guys so much. And I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon for a brand new video. Bye, guys.